I am Angelica Maria González Toro. My group number is 20, and today I'm going to present to you 3 news from 2 sections: international news and home news. Paramilitary puts Colombia peace talks virtually on hold. Peace talks between Colombia's government and FARC rebels are stuck because the government refused to acknowledge the existence of far-right paramilitaries while the FARC demands their dismantling. According to both the Colombian and U.S. governments, paramilitary groups ceased to exist in 2006 when the last unit of paramilitary organization AUC formally mobilized. However, hardly anyone in Colombia believes either Bogotá or Washington, D.C., especially after the years of the AUC Los Urabeños, shut down parts of the country over the weekend. The FARC, who has been engaged in active combat with these groups for years, has called for the effective dismantling of the paramilitary structures once run by the AUC and now by the Urabeños. However, according to Defense Minister Luis Carlos Villegas, it is irresponsible to qualify these groups as paramilitary, even though the years have made it crystal clear that the men currently running the Urabeños are the same people who once fought for the AUC and, like the paramilitaries, are violently opposing leftist political forces. The Urabeños, who call themselves the Gaitanistas Self-Defense Forces of Colombia, want to be considered a paramilitary force, to have the political recognition we can't give them, given the fact that their only purpose is making profit through criminal enterprises and terror, Villegas told El Tiempo. In the country, there are no paramilitaries, said Villegas, whose government insists on calling the paramilitary successor groups criminal bands or simply BRACRIM. Keiko Fujimori, ex-president's daughter, heads to runoff in Peru. Presidential elections in Peru were headed to a second round of voting on Sunday with the daughter of an imprisoned former president in the lead over a centrist former prime minister, Peruvian officials said. Trailing her by double digits was Pedro Pablo Kuczynski, a centrist economist who served as the country's prime minister in the mid-2000s. Ms. Fujimori, a right-wing candidate, campaigned on promises to promote foreign investment while restoring her father's law and order legacy of combating extremist groups. But her campaign was unable to clinch the majority needed to avoid a runoff scheduled for June 5. Speaking to supporters Sunday, Ms. Fujimori said that the results reflected a new political map in the country and that voters wanted to reclaim the state's presence. But critics fear that her candidacy risks a return to the authoritarianism of her father, whose legacy has become a central issue of the campaign. The father's legacy is a double-edged sword for Keiko, said Jo Mary Bart, a senior fellow at the Washington Office on Latin America, a policy group. It brings her a steady stream of votes, but it brings her a steady rejection. There are people who will never vote for her. On Sunday, Peruvians found out to voting stations like the one at Sagrado Corazon Chalet School, where soldiers guard ballot boxes placed in classrooms. Damaris Poma Escobedo, a supermarket employee, voted for Ms. Fujimori because she identified with a female candidate. We need a woman to be president, she said. She has good ideas, and I think the past is the past, and we can look forward to give her an opportunity. Zika virus, scarier than thought, says U.S. The Zika virus is scarier than first thought, and its impact on the U.S. could be greater than predicted, public health officials have admitted. A wider range of birth defects has been linked to the virus, said Dr. Ann Shockett of the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. And the mosquitoes that carry the virus could travel to more U.S. states than previously thought, she said. The current Zika outbreak began almost a year ago in Brazil. It has been linked to thousands of birth defects there and has spread widely through the Americas. Most of what we have learned is not reassuring, said Dr. Scott at a White House briefing on Monday. Everything we know about this virus seems to be scarier than we initially thought. There have been 346 confirmed cases of Zika in the continental United States, according to the CDC, all associated with travel. Earlier this year, U.S. President Barack Obama asked the U.S. Congress for $1.9 billion in emergency funding to combat the virus. In the meantime, it has been using money totaling $589 million left over from the Ebola virus fund. The U.S. now needs more money to fight the mosquitoes and to fund better research into vaccines and treatments, he said. The very, very best scenario will be a vaccine ready for the general public by the beginning of 2018, he told the BBC World Service. He said there had been recent discoveries about how destructive Zika appeared to be to fetal brains. There were also reports of rare neurologic problems in adults, he said. The CDC announced that Puerto Rico is to receive $3.9 million in emergency Zika funding as the number of cases doubles every weekend. In February, the first U.S. case of locally transmitted Zika was reported in Dallas, Texas, spread through sexual contact, not a mosquito bite.